Yep.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. Welcome back to Tech Talk, where technology meets transformation. We are here today in episode 2, The Future of TV, and we are going to have a look into the technology without getting too deep inside the technology. Whereas last week, we had a look at the visionaries, the founders' journey towards AITV, and today's episode 2 is Inside the Tech. Responsive AI human avatars, and the intelligent media engine that powers AI TV. So let's explore the technology transforming television into a secure, interactive AI powered experience and the commercial opportunities it creates. Now, welcoming our speakers and founders again. Welcome back, everyone. And I believe that Mr. Stephen Remondini will not be joining us. Apologies for that. Our CEO, Mr. Mark Ivanovsky, is here all the way from Silicon Valley. And I would also, before we start, like to thank our sponsors, K Media, Bonio Post, Oriental Daily, Sihua Daily, TFM, and Utusan Borneo. So, gentlemen, let's have a look at the questions because what we have done is we have posed questions to the AI engines that we have got now. So there will be questions from the AI so that it does not show biasness, and the answers, some of the answers that I will be reading will be by AI, and then we will touch on the questions and answers by the humans. So, gentlemen, Dr. Maradi, this one is for you. What exactly are responsive human AI avatar agents in AI TV, and how do they change the viewing experience?
Well, if you look at the evolution of the past few years that you have experienced with your personal home devices, for example, gadgets that have been produced like uh, Alexa, for example, or Google Talk, or other hardware equipment that you could have a voice-enabled activation service. We have evolutionized where we all of a sudden have a little home device that we could talk to it through a technology called text to speech. And the speech becomes a command line, and a command line becomes an execution that it accesses to a wide array of services. We call them cloud in general for the purpose of simplicity. And it then retrieves that information for you. So if you say, Alexa, play me a music, for example, on your favorite band, it'll go retrieve it. We looked at that kind of an evolution that it has come together to the home market. But with the advent of human avatar and digital twin and the capability of doing things in real time with the human face as an interaction, because we have gone again through evolution where we used to have in metaverses, if you remember, with the VRs and everything else, little human avatars that Zuckerberg, for example, built it with a half body, other entities build it with the full body, like Second City and so forth. But more importantly, that evolution has brought us to the AI TV. So we believe when you turn on your television set, we want you to see the most friendly user experience that you can ever have by meeting that person. So if, for instance, I like to see Marilyn Monroe or Elvis Presley, right? When I turn on my computer, my TL television set, that face becomes active. She starts talking to you and asking you questions. How was your day, Mr. VJ, right? And then recognizing your mood, because you may have a hard day, you may have a very happy day, you may have exuberating day. We don't know. So taking that into an account, that becomes your personalized learning device that we call LLM, and it allows that knowledge to be shared with your personalization without sharing with the public to create the best personalized experience. And that experience could be movie search, or it could be something that you want to connect to your refrigerator, for example, with your IoTs, and find out that if you're running out of milk, your television reminds you. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Moradi. That's comprehensive. Now, here's a human question. So, when these human avatars are licensed, okay, they are licensed, right, to
Correct.
TV. Okay, so now we have got a business model there that actually enhances AITV. Am I right?
Precisely, because one of the things is every geo IP has their own rights management. So when you're in India, for example, you got Bollywood.
Right.
When you're in USA, you got Hollywood,
Right.
right?
Right.
So when you work with the studios and the presentation and the cast and the actors,
Right.
then you obtain those licenses because now they see the monetization matrix themselves as a revenue recognition. But that face, that familiarity becomes that part of that experience.
Right. So it can be geo IP centric, culturally centric, according to that specific
Absolutely.
region. Right. That's very brilliant. It's a very thoughtful way that AITV has been designed with your responsive human AI avatars.
Yes.
Now, there's another question. How do you balance AI-driven personalization with user privacy and data protection?
Well, the way we grounded this, because being an ICT guy for 45 years, and Mark and Francis and the team can testify, you don't want to get a 3 o'clock wake-up call that you've been breached. Okay? That's a nightmare for everybody. And a lot of these organizations, unfortunately, they take the security lightly. We designed everything based on ground up into that equation, because every layer, every stack could become vulnerable. To avoid that is where we started building the entire infrastructure into a CDN-driven interactive mode that we call ICDN, that pops up and becomes the ground floor for the AITV deployment and strategies. Under that assumption, we have built different layers of securities. And under these layers of security, we had one vision in mind: the privacy and the security of the viewers. So in that experience right now, we are trying.
We've got a drop. Dr. Moradi will refresh.
With create that personalization and allow you to connect to your devices. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Moradi. There was a drop in internet signal, I guess. Okay, now can you explain
Vijay?
Can you hear me? Dr. Moradi, can you hear me?
Okay, looks like Vijay is having a technical difficulty. So let's carry on.
Okay.
Vijay, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. The
Okay.
signals dropped, and again, this is where the infrastructure plays an importance in real-time streaming. It's not us, it's not the technology, But anyway, let's continue. Now, I have got
internet. You always have to remember, if you're on a Wi-Fi, then you got connections. That's
yes,
back.
Exactly. Anyways, Dr. Moradi, can you explain the intelligent media engine? Okay, very briefly, so we don't get too technical.
I think the best guy that can explain some of that is Francis. So I'm going to revert that to Francis, actually, because he's been working behind the scene with me. So Francis, what do you think?
You're talking about the smart media engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, it's a term that we coined, and it is actually a critical component of AITV's platform, because it's actually incorporating ICDN video, low latency, as well as interactive, and at the same time distributed storage capabilities. Well, there isn't any such kind of a technology out in the market, as far as I know of. So with this smart media engine, right, we actually allows AI agents to personalize and secure the viewing experience through real-time analysis and decentralized data processing.
Wow.
It will be supported by Web 3.0. In fact, you can even call it Web 4.0 because we are 3.5 already. And which will be actually being processed using edge computing. While this smart media engine, right, will have a lot of commercial applications, which will actually offer a lot of diverse revenue streams, significantly in the APAC market potential and USA. And because we are enabling it to embed ethical AI and fraud prevention, and it will be privacy first design. So this is the brief introduction of what this smart media engine all about. It has a lot of power, and it has a lot of it's just a juggernaut, an engine that combines a lot of technology inside. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Francis. Now, here's a human question. Probably Dr. Moradi or Francis, any one of you all can answer this.
Yep, the VJ is having a technical difficulty. Yesterday we had Silicon Valley, and since I live in the island, I always have technical difficulties. So, Francis, I'd like to ask you a question. Actually, this question is for Mark, if you don't mind.
Sure.
One of the area that we are looking at is from your point of view and vision, and the way that you have been exploring and researching on AITV. What are your most recent findings that is leading to an evolution that we are transforming the market from connected TV and smart TV to AITV?
Well, the general reaction of the broadcast executives that we've talked to, as you know, Dr. Moradi, is one of what I call FOMO meets FUD, right? Fear of missing out, while at the same time, fear and uncertainty about what it means to them.
Correct.
And the reality is, if you look back over history, recent history, over the last 10 years in the US, Fortune 50 companies, half of them have changed out because they haven't kept up with the rate of change of technology. Well, what we're helping to bring to the market here addresses those kind of issues and helps our clients to come up with, as Francis just mentioned, new revenue streams. The ability to enhance what the functionality that they're bringing to the market. Example being personalized ads. When you go from a broadcast ad where you don't know who your end audience really is, you're kind of guessing with what's called a Nielsen rating survey. You're missing the focus of the personalization, and therefore you're not going to get the same return on investment for that ad stream as you would if each one of those ads was knew who the end watcher or consumer was. Right. So it really changes the game around revenue enhancement for the marketplace, and it's a massive issue. And as Francis said, there's multiple other components to bringing interactivity to the market in the living room, as I call it, where we're watching TV. It's changing the environment from a strictly passive one to one where you have the option, not the requirement, but the option to be more interactive with what's going on, including if you happen to see things like a product that you're interested in a movie or a show, you can immediately look into that and even buy it in real time while you're watching the show. So those kind of things, the interactivity, the personalization, I think are really big enhancers from a revenue monetization standpoint for the broadcasters and the advertisers, and ultimately who's behind the advertisers, the product suppliers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. It was a very pleasant. Now, staying on to that theme, answering these commercial and business questions and models. So, Mark, how this is probably going to let a little bit of the cat out of the bag. Now, how do these responsive human AI avatar agents and the intelligent media engine open new revenue streams for broadcasters and advertisers?
Well, I touched on a couple just now, VJ, but it just is a set of opportunities that are very broad, and things like even watch parties, bringing interactive watch parties. So an example of that would be, you're watching a sporting event or a concert, and you're with your friends and family, but virtually. You're not necessarily in the same room, but you're able to experience the emotions of being together because you're seeing each other, unlike if you're just doing a chat type of thing. And so through that process, just that dynamic of being with friends and family and watching the shows, and you couple back to what I talked about a minute ago, things like what you're seeing, if it's a concert, maybe you want to buy, or, a sporting event, you want to, be able to learn the analytics around that particular player. All that interactivity now is going to be available through what we're bringing to the market. So the options are just very broad. And, what we do with each of our clients as we move forward, we understand where their greatest pain points are. And then we help focus bringing on a customized roadmap, the implementation of AITV-like functionality to them based on their priorities.
Okay, Mark. Now, does this mean that these advertisements that are coming on, they are non-intrusive to the audience?
Yeah. The bottom line is there's a process there where, the advertisers, if you would, understand the DNA of the individual that's watching the show, right?
Right.
And that option, to bring content that is very specifically of interest to them is what we can now do, because we have, similar to what Google's been able to do, in general on the internet, we can now bring that into the living room to do that the same way. That being said, your point about intrusiveness, if someone wants to opt out of that interactivity, they'll always have that option of doing that, right? And they can go into a passive mode of watching the shows if they prefer to do that.
Right.
So, that optional path will always be there.
Okay. So now, to add on to that, we did also provide the advertising view guarantee to the advertisers. That means when they advertise their products in AITV, okay, would it be right to say they are getting ad view guarantee as well? That means the brand engaging with the consumers in real time.
Enhanced revenue, because unlike that broadcast ad, right? Think about that. That went out, and probably 90% of that audience was not interested in what they were seeing on the screen.
Yes.
So, it was only a small percentage, even though they were trying to get that through the Nielsen rating process of understanding, how who's watching certain content. Now it will be not only who's watching certain content, but what are the likes and dislikes of every individual watching that. So think about what that means from a revenue enhancement standpoint for the advertiser. It's huge. It's absolutely game changing. And it's why Google became $1 trillion company on the internet. The same thing we're now being able to bring into the living room.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Now that explains a lot on the business and the revenue.
Also, there's a couple of other things that you may want to add to that dimension of revenue. One of them is content production, okay, by AI. And Francis, do you want to expand a little bit on that subject line at how producers, content broadcasters can benefit from the use of artificial intelligence to create backdrop content, advertising from a variety of that? Back to you, Francis.
In fact, right, we can actually be able to identify the profile of the viewers. And then based on the profile of the viewers, we can actually personalize the advertisement for each and every single family or each and every TV. So that means that we can actually insert advertisement right inside a movie. Yeah, insert an advertisement right inside a drama. So with that, right, we actually have soft advertisement. We call it personalized advertisement. And on top of that, we past, right, advertisement is always one directional, meaning there will be actually be 2 minutes or 1 minute advertisement talking about the product itself. They will not be able to interact with you, but we actually can create interactive advertisement whereby you can actually ask, where is the nearest shop that's around Singapore, or where is the nearest shop in New York? So basically, people can actually buy and go directly to the map, which is linked to Google Map. So with this, right, you actually create an interactive advertisement and interactive content creation on the go. Yeah. Back to you.
Thank you. Vijay, back to you.
That's very interesting. Very nice to know that all that can be done with AITV. Now, there's another question that has been niggling me. Normally, when we have our normal TV sets, the TV is shut, right? But it's still listening to you, because when you switch it on, whatever your conversation is, that specific advertisement comes up. Now, when we say AITV is private and secure, how does it react towards this kind of situation, Dr. Moradi?
Well, the challenge that you have is a balanced environment, okay? And given the rights to the users with the privacy, do they want to be notified? They don't want to be notified. This kind of questions and answers constantly moves from one dimension to another dimension, right? The balance in here is that AITV, with the hope of AI agents, that they understand the privacy, the security, and applying that set of information only for the constituent. Look, if I like to buy certain personalized item, that means I'm already sold on those brands, right? It's not intrusive to me anymore, because that's where I go to and move my shopping cart, right? And I pick up items from the shelves because I trust them. And what do? I neglect all the other brands that is in the same shelf because I filter them, right? Think of AI in the same way, that we don't want to put other and force and steal your time. We want to bring only the ad and the product that you actually purchase.
Right.
And empower you. And these are the differences that it comes to formation. And that's where the experience comes. Now, the content, if you remember the cable days versus non-cable days, the cable guys won the market share originally, that they said no ad. We all moved into the HBOs, and we moved to different services in United States because we wanted to pay that, not to see the advertising. Then they call it streamers, the TV networks, right? The CDNs and all of these guys that they produce and broadcast content. What did they do? Now they started putting ad inserts, stealing time from you, because if you want to watch something, I want something in return. We don't believe this is the right way of advertising, okay? It's intrusive. It wastes all of our time. So therefore, rather than taking that paradox, if you shift it in a way that you acknowledge that because you purchased that item, so if you like a brand, okay, for a drink, I won't mention names, then that the one should be brought to you and should be advertised and giving you incentive to purchase, because you accept that as a part of your daily lifestyle. Back to you.
Right. So that means the viewers, the users decide what they want to watch, what brands they want to engage with. It's no more putting what they don't want to see in front of them. Am I right to say that?
That is correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, and to expand on that, Vijay, that AI agent, that digital twin, is learning constantly, as Dr. Moradi said at the beginning, about the personal DNA of the individual. And so it's not just a one-time event. It's a understanding, as Dr. Moradi explained, that they may like one beverage over another, or one pickup truck over another brand, that type of thing. And the engine's going to remember that, and it's going to know their history of their likes, their dislikes, and it's therefore going to be able to ensure that when they do see advertisements, that they are things that are not considered intrusive. Again, as Dr. Moradi said, that they're things that they want to know about and might be interested in even purchasing at some point. So it's a continual learning curve. The beauty of AI is just that it doesn't forget. it remembers everything better than us humans can do.
Right.
Remembers our personal traits forever.
Right. Okay. I have one question now, right? You just came up just now while we were talking about this subject. In a home, we may have more than 4 or 5 people that is viewing AITV. Okay, the father, the mother, the children, right? Now, is this responsive human AI avatar indigenous to each home person, or they all share one avatar?
The answer is both, depending on your preference.
Right.
If you have a preference that your children should look at a different human avatar, could be a little dinosaur, for example,
Right.
right?
Right.
Licensed from Disney, for
Right.
instance, or versus Nicole Kidman, for example, for daddy, okay, and mommy wants to see Tom Cruise, for example. These kind of things are highly possible with the proper licensing, digital rights management, and personalization. So when that knowledge base comes in, like that digital twin, now becomes that avatar that you just mentioned as an agent, as your butler,
Right.
as your concierge,
Right.
listening and applying your know, your liking, your personalization without sharing that with the third parties. This is extremely important to create that personalized LLM for you as your, like Mark says, your personal DNA, that it adapts to the way you behave, not the way that others want you to behave. So
Right.
that personalization is a trait that AITV is going to bring it back. And then when you bring the family together, and Francis can tell you a story about how you have a digital studio that you can sit in front of a TV and basically tell a story, and it becomes a video that you can broadcast through AI agent. You want to talk about it a little bit, Francis?
Yeah, I can give you a use case, right? Okay. Basically, a family in Singapore probably will use AITV to watch a live sports event. While our AI avatar, or you can call it an AI butler, okay, suggests the related content like the player stats and invites them to a watch party with friends, and even rewarding tokens for participations. While this AITV itself, they have the data clean room, ensuring that private preferences are remain private, share only with the advertisers anonymously, aligning to the GDPR or the PDPA or whatever jurisdiction. So basically, right, this use case is actually showing you that the AI avatar is able to do profiling of each and every single family member. Yeah. In fact, right, what is happening is that this AITV is actually making full use of Web3 framework. We enable and empower our user with data control and personalized engagement. So in fact, we are using can actually use a data wallet to ensure that all the data is actually private. Only essential preferences is being given to the advertisers, not the name, but the essential preferences is given to advertisers. So that means a user watching a cooking show can control which preferences are shared, while they can even earn tokens for opting into targeted advertisement. So this is the way of how we can actually incentivize engagement while at the same time GDPR compliance. Yep.
I want to add a comment in here about Francis, because let's say you have AITV and you want to sell a t-shirt to Star Wars between age of 18 to 36, okay? How do you advertise and market that? That is called CDP, first party data, as we have discussed that in the past through many of the lectures that we have provided during Tek Talk show. If you recall, they can go refer to that. But more importantly, all of a sudden they get access to 166 million audience, for instance, through Disney Party. And Disney makes that delivery and brings it back to you, okay, your advertising. So that kind of a target marketing is unprecedented, because now, like Mark says, Nielsen rating is obsolete the way that we are doing it. We are not bringing intrusive advertising we are bringing permission-based advertising just from a monetization for the broadcasters. Back to you.
Yeah, permission-based advertising, and I believe it's measured in time, right? So that's where the ad view guarantee comes in, providing the value proposition to the advertisers. Am I right to say that, Dr. Moradi?
Yeah, because take a look at your own surrounding, the way the life is right now. The
Right.
advertiser, they say, hey, we got 5 million eyeballs, we got 10 million, we got 100, and you pay for that, right?
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything. You just paid
Yes.
for distribution of
Correct.
an airtime, right?
Yes.
And as an advertiser, you have one objective, KPI,
Yes.
right? You want to create revenue. That's why you advertise.
Yes.
But if your revenue is not incentivized and is targeted toward the right person, if Mark doesn't like that truck, I cannot persuade him.
Correct. Correct.
It's that simple, okay?
Correct.
So I will waste energy, time, money by advertisers because I'm not reaching to the right eyeball. And that is where AI agent, AI advertising that we are working behind the scene is designed to accommodate that. So it could be vital few versus trivial many, but the impact is going to result KPI. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Now I've got another question which just popped up. How will the children be protected during this journey with AI TV, with the advertisements and also with the content? Okay, and the human avatars, right?
Free Pampers.
Free Pampers.
That's nice.
Okay.
That's how
I
we
love
keep
the
them.
freebies. Any free toys?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now let's look.
So with the children, there is privacy, just like every other system and every television and every setting has. There are parental control, rights management of what they can and they cannot, and then that becomes the premises. But remember, AITV is something that we've never done, okay? We are going into a new journey, but we want our audience to be part of that experience.
Okay.
We want them to provide us with the information that how they see we can help them through agent and training, that the human avatar can help their children by learning, by expanding, and yet be in charge of their own destiny. Back to you.
So AITV is going to listen to the audience views and take it into consideration and then act on it. Would I be right?
And it's activated, not just listening 24/7. Because everything is permission based.
Okay.
But basically, you didn't mention that AITV it has sensor in the solutioning. Okay,
Right.
it has the means of actually voice and able to listen to the voice. They have the ability to actually do profiling and through federated learning of the audience itself. And on top of that, it has the ability to be interactive in terms of using an AI avatar to actually speak to you and listen to your voice and be interactive to controls and having control over the entire TV itself.
Okay. Okay.
On top of that, it is able to do gesture control as well. Yeah, these are some of the new features that we are adding on.
Okay, wonderful. So that answers the questions on the children's protection, because when they come on, their voice will be recognized and the content and the AI avatar will be synonymous to those kids and then synonymous to all the other folks that who are engaged with AITV. Okay, brilliant. Very well done, Francis. Very well done. Now, again, Francis, what are the biggest technical challenges you solved to make AI-powered TV a reality?
Okay, to deploy this AI TV personalized streaming to the masses through broadcasting technology, which is it has never been done. Yeah, personalized streaming. Okay, meaning the ability to stream the same content to millions of people, but tweaking every single the stream to the personalized need of every single individual. That is personalized streaming. Okay, this is something challenging, and we actually leverage on Web 3.0, edge computing, and probably IFPS, which has a significant technical challenges. So we want to actually create real-time interactivity plus privacy first design. Plus, it must be actually be integrated with broadcasting. So to ensure that this vision, right, is we are able to ensure there's personalization, infrastructure, as well as security.
Okay.
First of all, let me talk about the scalability of real-time personalization, which is the AITV, AI agent, as well as the smart media engine, which I mentioned just now, which will actually deliver personalized content like AI butler, recommendation, okay, processing user data for millions to millions of people in real time is actually computationally very intensive, especially if it's a in traditional method, right? So broadcast is usually is a TV station one to many model, which is totally is a conflict of what we are trying to do. Is actually individualized streams. This way of streaming, right, will actually increase the server load if we are simply just using a cloud computing method. So in order for us to actually to reduce the server load, right, we intend to actually use edge computing, meaning we will actually put a small computer or device in with the this TV itself in order to reduce all the server load. And so we can actually have high-speed networks as well as optimized algorithms and ensure that all the stream actually being at maintain low latencies. Okay. Now this is one of the issue that we have, personalized streaming. Second thing is that because of another vision that we have, right, is actually to do the legacy broadcast integration, because AITV is actually in partnership with we propose to in partnership with 1,450 TV stations and middleware like Google AI and LG ThinQ TVs, right? So if we want to actually integrate with all these legacy broadcast system, it is a challenge because they are not designed for AI-driven personalization. So we need to actually adopt modern protocols, and to train broadcasting team on AI tools, okay? So we need to actually ensure that our AI TV has an open standard approach, which will ensure that it is compatible and we will gradually roll out and do pilot testing.
Thank you very much, Francis. Now that is a
There
very
is one other thing that complementing Francis that it's worth mentioning. Our entire design is laid out based on user privacy and the viewer's experience, what we call the journey, the customer journey. But this is managed by the TV producers, by the TV networks, the CDNs, the OTT, because they are the ones that they are bringing that to the masses. So like Mark said on many occasions, we are not a B2C model. We want to make sure that everybody understands that. Our goal is to empower the TV networks around the globe. And that's why we work with Asia Pacific Broadcast Union from Kuala Lumpur or European Broadcast Union from Geneva and so forth, because that modality allows us to serve every geo IP based on the rights management that they already know their audience. And it makes that transition much easier and adaptation more adaptive in that sense. Back to you, Vijay.
thank you very much.
Right. Let me add on because the one of the major challenge, right, is also on this content authenticity as well as fraud. So with AITV, right, we will actually have our own programmatic advertisement. So we will have a means of actually to detect fraud as well as content authenticity through secure means.
So would it be safe to say that AITV safeguards and protects users' content against deepfake AI, fraud, fake news, scam, and misinformation? Now, would I be right to say that?
Yes.
Well, you can say yes,
Because
and
you're in a
also
database setting.
yeah.
Your
Yes, ethical
producer
AI
is
law.
providing you the content, not you.
Okay.
You know, and then he has the right to decide what goes inside the channels and the broadcast and the venues.
Right.
So he decides upon that because he has the licenses and the rights
Right.
to distribute those, and he would never want to compromise its own relationship with its audience by bringing deep fake and fake news into the equation. So
Right.
yes, you're preserving the channels.
Right. So that's very lovely. That's where the privacy and security element comes in as well. Now, since we were staying on the subject of delivering low latency, how does it work in the rural areas? So AITV can be delivered seamlessly in the rural area deployment?
Well, there are several options to that criteria. One of them is the infrastructure, naturally. The next thing is that signals that they're coming to your homes, right? Whether from satellite or from your cable or from your telcos, you obviously have what is called last mile, right? That last mile could be your router sitting inside your house, technically speaking, by a service provider.
Right.
They have technologies and platforms that they support through their towers, through their COs, through many of these other OCs that they have operation center mocks together to deliver. You don't see that behind the scene. That's what we call behind every successful communication. There is a strong network of people running day to day to make sure that you're enjoying those benefits.
Right.
Then once that signal is done, then there are standards. These standards constantly are changing by IEEE, by ITFE, by W3C. And these engineers, they all have to sit down and agree, just like you see on your website, a JPEG, and you take it for granted, or MPEG video. These are all approved by industry standards, so everybody can work. Our goal and objective with AITV is to follow the same kind of a utilization, where we can adopt in different environment with different standards, add that standards into the AITV as what we call a gigantic AI middleware, for a better lack of a term.
Right.
And then make that delivery solution customized to those network of audiences based on their own likings, the way they see their culture, adaptation. Like, for instance, Beijing that we were just a few weeks ago, for instance, or everything is censored. So that everything has to get pre-approved, and then you can broadcast those kind of content, right? Versus an Islamic country where women are prohibited by showing their faces on the camera unless they're granted permissions. So now you see some of this application and uses, and that is why we are building this as an ecosystem for the globe. It is an awesome project, but we need everybody's participation, including you, Mr. Vijay.
Okay, so this is where the vendor agnostic phenomena comes in, where the AITV becomes completely vendor agnostic, right? Okay, lovely. So it looks like we have solved the problem, and going forward with AITV is really.
We just started the problem.
You know, sorry, Vijay. You know, the beauty though of what we're doing is there are a lot of lessons learned from what companies like Google have done in personalizing over the internet, as I said earlier, right? So it's not like we're having to reinvent the wheel from square one. There's a lot of things like we've talked about on this call relative to personalization and privacy. All those things, as Dr. Murati just talked about, are constantly evolving. But we do have the history to learn from of what has come before us, right? Correct. And before us is over the internet. Now we're bringing it to the living room, right? And that's the big transition. And coupling it with the AI functionality, that's the game changer. That's the thing that brings huge new monetization for the broadcasters and the advertisers. That's what is going to make it much more interesting for the end consumer that we will support through our partnerships in the B2B space. So, just to couple everything together, there's that whole history that we're building upon, both that we as a team have all brought to the table. I talk about my Oracle experiences. We talk about geo IP, right? Well, we had a mantra at Oracle that was think globally, but you have to act locally. And so every local environment has its nuances that we recognize need to be addressed. as part of a rollout strategy for whatever region of the globe that is. So, we're bringing all of the history, but we're also bringing the future together simultaneously here.
Right. Thank you very much, Mark. Now, staying there, now what makes AITV commercially different from the other service providers that are out there to the to the consumers?
Yeah. Good. That's a great question. Well, take an example, someone like Netflix or Hulu. They have a rudimentary, ability to recognize, because when you first log in, you're telling them who you are, and then they're going to, drive you to recommendations of their shows.
Right.
What we're bringing, because we're bringing the overlay over the entire network, we're bringing the ability now to know everything that's available to them on the internet, because we're bringing the knowledge of the internet through the AI engines to them, right? So the bottom line is that's part of the huge disrupt the disruptors message, right? Where Netflix disrupted Blockbuster years ago by bringing it out of the physical storefront to the streaming internet. We're now taking the Netflix or the Hulu model a step further by bringing full AI-based functionality.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mark. Now let's look at what are the APEC commercial opportunities for AI-powered broadcasting. Now, let me read an answer from AI, which will be more appropriate than the answer coming from us, because now it becomes unbiased. Asia Pacific is experiencing exponential growth in demand for secure, scalable, and AI-enhanced broadcasting solutions driven by digital transformation across public and private sectors. Now, that is synonymous, especially in ASEAN and some other regions. Regulatory mandates for content security, data privacy, and localization. Now, that part of this is what AITV supplies that other hyperscalers don't. So we provide these opportunities to the government of the day in that specific GeoIPs. Hybrid workforce models and virtual public engagement, and boom in media consumption and monetization platforms. Now, the key commercial opportunities include government and GLC adoption, whereby the secure digital media rooms and data clean rooms for policy, communication, e-parliament, smart city briefings, and ESG reporting. Education and education technology for interactive classrooms and secure exam environments with AI proctoring. Enterprise communications, private equity roadshows, stakeholder meetings and product launches, and AI-enhanced analytics. Media and OTT, whereby content creators and broadcasters adopting clean room-enabled AI personalized streaming solutions. Now, that's where the data clean rooms and the CDP, the client data platforms and first-party data that Dr. Maradi was mentioning just now comes in. This is where the added advantage for the APEC region to adopt to AITV, because we are also providing the opportunity for the government of the day to come in into a licensing model, whereby it's not been given by the hyperscalers, which they tend to disrupt the local broadcasters or the analog TVs that are in place. We are here to give you the value proposition. So that's where AITV now becomes a value proposition instead of disrupting. We are disrupting the disruptors, but we are not disrupting the government. We are giving the government of the day the value proposition. So again, in the APEC region, that's where it comes in. And also we are providing through the onboarding process a collaboration where we can now create center of excellences, and where we can have a collaboration and provide know-how and train the local workforce instead of having job disruption. Now you create a value proposition by reskilling and upskilling the existing services around the region. And having said that, gentlemen, do you all have anything else that you want to add on?
Yeah, I want to add another comment in here about what you just said. Fear of missing out is really urgent, because after I just hang up from this session, I'm going to Botswana.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm teaching the Botswana people the same thing that I'm teaching you guys in that region. If you don't adopt, another region will take off, okay? Because it's not about the question of if, it's a question of when. When you decide to adopt, if you stay longer, then the longer it takes for you to adopt, because the leaders, through AI, through its knowledge base, through its know-how, will have a competitive edge against you as a broadcaster.
Of course, they have to adapt, adopt, and change in a timely fashion, otherwise be left behind.
More importantly, the job opportunities of those people that we have already spoken to, 550 TV networks in Beijing or at Asia Pacific broadcast, to the broadcasters, that fear of missing out that Mark eloquently explained, it's extremely valuable asset right now, because AI is moving at the speed that we cannot as human no longer afford to ignore. That is why he always brings up the input from Silicon Valley, and it says this is a board decision. This is not even management decision. And he can expand on that, Mark, a little bit, if you.
Yeah, this is an excellent point here. So, if you look at I mentioned just a minute ago about the last 10 years in the Fortune 50 in the United States, half those companies have changed out because of technology changes. AI, though, is accelerating that dramatically, exponentially. It's changing things on a daily basis. We're seeing it in how we do our marketing, how we run our business internally, as well as how we're going to bring this solution to our B2B partners. The bottom line is, as Dr. Murati said, if you don't get, if you aren't moving fast right now, you will get overrun by those that enable and take on AI sooner. And that's where all these board discussions are coming in. And it's not just in the broadcast industry, it's every industry. The boards are asking the question, what are you doing? How are you bringing AI? Because they understand the FOMO, the fear of missing out. They understand their competitors are moving in lightning speed, because AI is moving at a lightning speed of improvement and enablement. We're living in the future. And so being nimble is a huge part of your success going forward as a company. You have to react fast. You cannot any longer take a year, 2 years to make a decision, because AI is changing so fast. And as Dr. Murati just said, companies and countries all over the globe are embracing AI. And so, getting on the front end of this and having a partnership with a company like AITV that can help you move very rapidly into an enablement process is going to only enhance your chances of becoming the industry leader.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. There's a very nice takeaway from there. And in fact, adding on to that, I believe there was an article that said that the LLM models are taking over. They're not listening to the inventors. They have created their own mind now. They're going and creating their own cyber attacks. So I believe what you say, true. If you don't adapt and change, you're going to be missing out. And once you miss out and somebody else takes that lead, it will take a long time to catch up with the rapid transformation. So
if you ever can.
yeah, that's the other problem, if you ever can catch up with them. So Dr. Murati, do you want to have anything to say before we?
No, the other complementary information that I think it's extremely important is the innovations that is taking place with the schools, the universities, and the programs that, Francis, if you want to expand on that with the CG and so forth, I think that adds a lot of value for the producers, that they can think of it. Because one of the things that we are introducing, if you remember a few years ago when reality TV showed up in your screen, right? We believe interactive TV, AITV, is going to change the way you interact with the TV and the game shows, or the storytelling, or a movie, or acting. And that is why some of our own colleagues right now doing cons in London, they're talking to different format production houses, because these are all called formatting, copywriting, and so forth. And they sell that for pilot, for season, for events. So we want our producers to think outside the box, take the reality TV into interactive TV. And that is one of the things Francis can expand on it. Back to you, Francis.
Well, okay. Basically, we on our side project that we have been doing, right, is that we are actually doing a lot of interactive experiments, even for this the broadcasters, through interactive newscastings as well as interactive advertisement. And on top of that, we are actually gathering a lot of entrepreneurs to actually go through training camp hackathon to actually get them to do AI generated content, and at the same time teaching them how to make it interactive. So our last project that we have done is that actually we actually gather 130 students from all over the world, and we put them in through remote control, Web 3.0 method. We actually created our own a movie, AI movie, 100% AI. So with that, right, we believe that this is the trend that's up and coming, and in fact, it is happening now. So I believe that AITV is what is going to be. It will have. It is a entertainment platform. It is an entertainment hub. But besides being an entertainment hub, you need to have the entertainment content that is actually interactive. So our belief and our vision is to create an entire ecosystem that is totally interactive with our AITV as the hub, as the platform, while the content itself we must have lots of content creator to create the interactive TV content to ensure that this ecosystem will work, and it will actually bring the entire humanity to the next step, the next evolution of media. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
the $300 million blockbuster movies out of Hollywood or Bollywood are going to be a thing of the past because it's not going to
Just imagine that this Star Wars, right? You can actually have it interactive instead of having the hero and heroine, right, living happily ever after. Can we actually having them being smacked at the ass, or being actually being beat by the enemy or whatever? We can actually change the ending just because I want it to be so, because make it interactive. Yeah.
Yep. Not only that, but the gamers are doing that already in that industry. And not more importantly, I think, to really summarize some of these things, you're talking about 4 elements in here. You're talking about human as number 1. That is our first and foremost relationship. 2, the AI agents that they can serve the human. 3, technologies that they can bring that, call it edge computing, the CDN, the Web 3.0s, all of these, I wrap them into a technology. And more importantly, content is king. And when you bring all of that together, you got AITV, and that's why you have to say, love it and live it.
So would it be right to say that now AITV literally becomes a NOC, a network operating center for the user, where now all the other elements can be connected to it, like the telehealth, the tele-education, you can connect the government services, you can connect your e-commerce, you can connect your banking services, and you can literally use AITV as your network operating center, which literally becomes your private network.
Smart home, IoT enabled also.
Right.
I just call it your digital media room, that it gives you the power to do everything that you want to do. Because what do we do in our big houses when we build? We have a media room, right?
Right.
But not everybody in Asia, because of the size and capacity, can afford that, right?
Right.
But inside the TV with the digital media room, all of those services that you're talking about becomes empowered.
Right. Correct. In the problem in the Asia Pacific region mainly is the rural area deployment, where all the services now can reach the rural areas, so the rural folks can grow. So now that becomes a fundamental reason for AITV, because it gives them a comprehensive tool in digital economy for them to grow and receive the content that they have been lacking behind for so long.
That's a very important point you just brought up, Vijay, because in the rural regions, and that's even true in the US, deploying fiber optic or cable to those regions is very, very expensive.
Correct.
The alternative now is because of 5G wireless, all you need is a much more cost-effective deployment of towers, cell towers. With that, you now have full internet functionality in the rural areas, which means the telcos for the first time can move from a race to zero in their business models, where all they have is price to differentiate on, to now delivering content to the end users, the high value content. So it's a huge, huge game changer for the telecommunication industry, because particularly in rural regions where there are no fiber optics, there are no cable deployments, because it's too expensive and there's no longer a need to spend that kind of money when you can simply set up 5G, soon to be 6G towers, cell towers. So the rural area thing is a huge, huge opportunity to bring a solution like this to those areas.
Yeah.
And also,
I think-
remember, Starlink is one of the challenges right now that we have already tested in your region, in Africa, for the rural area, because distance learning becomes a pivotal value for the children, that they can reach out to some of the best professors at Stanford University and learn while they're sitting in the rural area as a part of their education.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, having said that, gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show, where it was very enlightening, and we had, like what Dr. Moradi said, we had 4 key takeaways today. And AITV is not just reinventing TV; it's creating a secure, intelligent, interactive media ecosystem with ethical AI at its core. Now, that's the difference of AITV. Now, today we saw how AITV's responsive human AI avatars and the intelligent media engine that is not going to change how we watch and engage TV and content, and is going to change with AITV. So, having said that, AITV is rewriting the rules of broadcasting. So it's a fantastic job by our technical team behind us and the founder. And heading on to what Mark saying just now, AITV, the core engine that supports AITV, we have tested it since 2011, 2010. When in a specific geo IP, when that region was transitioning from 2G to 3G, the core engine was already deploying high definition audio and video using CDNs and cloud, which 5G did not exist. So it is well and time tested in the Asia Pacific region. And to add further to that, we also did testing with the military grade spectrum, where we had seamless delivery in a very rural area with interactiveness and connection over 16 countries in real time. And this was back in 2011, 24. Now, having said that, that's the core engine that powers AITV. So AITV is here, so you have to love it, you have to leave it, and we are reinventing the way that consumers and broadcasters engage with content. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Join us in episode 3 as we explore the commercial models and the global rollout, turning AITV into the next billion-dollar industry and hopefully a trillion-dollar industry.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very
Have
much.
a great day.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Vijay.
once again. Borneo Post, K Media Marketing, Utusan Borneo, Oriental Daily, and Sihua Daily, and TFM.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Mark, for waking up so early and joining us all the way from Silicon Valley. Thank you, friend. And thank
Happy
you,
to do
Dr.
it.
Moradi.